Welcome back to the Grand Solar Minimum channel. Today is Wednesday, January 15th, 2020. Hope everyone had a great day. Let's check out some space weather conditions. Right now, our solar wind speeds coming in at 316.3 kilometers per second. We were on the alert for increased solar winds for yesterday and today, but that has not happened yet. They've been kind of back and forth, up and down between 289 and 316, but nothing has increased as of yet. So we'll continue to monitor that. All right, now our density is sitting at a 6.2, a little bit thicker than what it was this morning as well. And that's usually an indication sometimes of slower solar wind speeds on the way. 4 days in a row without sunspots. That makes it 5 for 2020. I think that's like around 33% of the year so far without sunspots. So definitely still in minimum conditions. And as we look at the SDO, all right, folks, now we can get started. I was just waiting for everybody to join in the fun here at the Grand Solar Minimum channel. Thank you for tuning in for the evening edition. All right, folks. Thank you, Mari, for confirming that that works. Solar wind speeds coming in at 316.3 kilometers per second with a 6.2 density. No sunspots once again. That's now 4 days in a row, 5 for the total of 2020. And I was showing you guys pictures of the coronal hole that's in the southern region. Could be here by the 19th of January if it does affect us. We're expecting solar winds to increase tonight at this time, but we are yet to see solar wind speeds jump above 320 kilometers per second. KP is at 1 and the 24-hour max is at a 2. And as I was saying earlier, before everybody could hear me, these little tiny sunspots that we've had here in 2020, a lot of folks, we went the first 8 days, I think, with a sunspot on our star, and they were sunspots number 11 most of the time, very small. And the question was, is it possible that these sunspots would have even been detected, say, back in the 1600s? And that's why when we look at the And the reason why I'm mentioning this is because I think so many people out there believe that because we hit a grand solar minimum, everything shuts off and flatlines. And that's just not the case. I think when we were monitoring the grand solar minimum back in the Maunder minimum, and there's no way these telescopes they had back then could pick up these sunspots that we have today that we are identifying as sunspots on our sun. So even though we've had a couple of days with spots, A lot of people are saying, yeah, but those wouldn't have been identified back in the 1600s, and that's why we see these graphs with such low activity. And in a way, it could be misleading to think that there's just nothing going on between 1650 and 1700. I believe that it's just very low solar maxes, like that what we're getting ready to see now, 50 sunspots or less. I'm not saying there wasn't a time during the Maunder minimum where there was no sunspots at all for several years. I'm just saying it might not have been this drastic, especially if we added the data that we see nowadays, what they consider a sunspot compared to what we see now. So just a little side note that I wanted to mention, because I think a lot of folks think that when you head into a grand solar minimum, it's just back down to zero and that's it. But it's a gradual increase and a gradual decrease. And right now we are on the decline of this grand solar minimum. All right, enough from my lecturing. Let's check out what else we can see here. If we have any sunspots around the corner, one of my favorite images to use. Right now we got a couple of bright regions in the northern latitudes, but nothing too serious. We've seen much bigger bright regions and they didn't amount to anything. So that's the one thing I'm noticing so far for 2020. We have less larger, bright, active regions and more of a tiny, spotty activity. So that shows that the star is continuing to weaken. The corona is weakening as well. And when these bright little active regions pop up and they're that small, that's just showing you that there's not enough plasma buildup underneath the corona to come out as a giant big sunspot. So this is still considered lower solar activity, folks, believe it or not. All right, let's get into a couple of headlines tonight. First, we'll go to Canada. Ontario hit by heavy snow, freezing rain, and record-breaking downpours in Canada. Snow, freezing rain, and record-heavy downpours lashed Ontario, Canada over the weekend, January 10th into the 12th. I don't know if you guys have noticed, but the last 3 times I've been on the air live, we're recapping all this weather that happened last weekend. And this weekend could be part 2 for some of us here in the U.S., and I'll get into that later. The capital, Ottawa, received 1.7 inches of rain just on Saturday alone, making it the city's wettest January 11th since records started in 1873. London saw around 2.2 inches of rain, also setting a new daily record. Hours of freezing rain created icy scenes in many spots in Ontario, with lots of trees and roads covered in ice. Power towers were also affected, leading to outages. On January 11th, Ottawa received record rainfall that went from up to midnight with about 1.7 inches. This makes it the wettest January 11th since the records began. And so far, the city's wettest January day since 2010. Also, the same day, London in southwestern Ontario received 2.2 inches of rain, setting a new record January 11th day record as well. The previous record was set for 1.3 inches on January 11th, 1988. And Canada has definitely, well, they're already involved with a lot of Arctic air right now, so they have seen their share of snow and ice and rain, and it just continues as the images from Canada hopefully aren't as often as we've seen it here lately, but some powerful storms moving across. And like I said, we might have a 2.0 of that heading our way here in the Northeast. Thanks to the Watchers.news for the continuous coverage over here. Powerful new winter storm to slam the Pacific Northwest, move toward the plains and Midwest U.S. Powerful storm with, now that's starting tonight, by the way. Very strong area, low pressure currently focused offshore the Pacific Northwest will be advancing inland tonight and traversing into the Intermountain West Thursday, January 16th through early Friday. The step up could yield heavy snowfall for the Olympic Mountains and the Cascades and extending well south down across the Sierra Nevada with as much as 2 to 3 feet of snow possible for the highest elevations going through Friday morning. Meanwhile, heavy rain is expected for the intermediate coastal ranges of Washington, Oregon, and central northern California, where locally a few inches of rain is expected for the event by the end of the week. Take a look at some satellite images. Tons of cloud coverage. Wow. When you look at it like this, folks, Winter storm, by the way, this storm has been named by the Weather Channel Jacob. Winter storm Jacob will then reorganize across the high plains and aim for the Midwest by Friday. As it does so, moisture returning from the Gulf of Mexico will allow widespread area precipitation to break out, including a swath of locally heavy snow, sleet, and freezing rain from portions of the Central Plains, northeast through the upper Midwest. This is expected to result in fairly widespread area of travel difficulty over the central U.S. by Friday night, with very slippery roads and locally poor visibility. A significant change in temperatures across the eastern U.S. is expected ahead of this storm, as very mild temperatures for this time of year will give way to the arrival of an area of Arctic high pressure surging southeast from Canada tonight and Thursday. Watchers here, their little graphic, that storm, and then another one moves in, and then another one moves in. I mean, the Northwest is getting just blitzed. Let's take a look at the snowfall, what they think here. Parts of the Midwest, Central Plains, looking at about 7 to 10 inches. Looks like pretty much where the heaviest snow is going to be. I said 6 to 10. That's probably going to be the forecast I'm going to stick with so far on this particular storm, Jacob. Snow blankets the UAE's highest peak, Jebel Jais, amid week of severe weather. Snow almost entirely covered this area with the highest peak of the United Arab Emirates on January 15th, 2020, as temperatures hit 30 degrees Fahrenheit during the country's week-long stretch of severe weather, including heavy downpours, hailstones, and intermittent sunny skies. Didn't know that was part of a severe weather batch, but it is here on the Watchers. Anyway, this area we just talked about out here with some heavy flooding. I think like a month's worth of rain in just a short period of time. And now we're talking about snow falling on one of its peaks. Guys, this is part of grand solar minimum that a lot of folks are starting to learn just by experience. But the wild temperature swings, the whiplash of weather. I mean, we're talking rain and floods one moment, mild temperatures. And now we're talking about snow and freezing rain and ice, and it's just, you're getting both sides of everything so far this winter. And I talked about it the other night about the warmth that we've received over the last several months, and Roy Spencer does a great job of breaking it down for us. And like I guessed and suspected, El Nino this year did play a part in why we saw some warmer temperatures in October, November, and December. But here we are, January 14th, talking about snow after just a couple days ago we were talking about floods. And some of the folks out there that are complaining about, well, it's not been that cold, we haven't seen the snow. Well, look around the rest of the world. I mean, yes, they're used to winter out in these parts, but these are considered severe conditions. You're getting flooding rains 2 days ago, and now we're getting snow. Moving back here into the United States, we have a dam update to give. And, when I saw the name of this dam, I thought to myself, I'm not even going to try. And then I heard how you pronounce it, but I still feel like I'm going to mess it up anyway. So here we go.
Oktibbeha.
Residents urged to evacuate due to imminent dam failure in Mississippi. Now it says here, Mississippi officials urged residents living near the
Oktibbeha
County Lake Dam to evacuate on Tuesday, January 14th, 2020, after heavy rains put a dam at imminent threat of failing and prompted flash flood emergency. After inspection, the
Oktibbeha
county engineer believed failure of the dam is imminent, says the Mississippi Emergency Management Agency.
Oktibbeha
County EMA Director Karen Campanella said the engineer found extremely high water levels in the lake, which is around 112 miles northeast of Jackson. Furthermore, the engineer Clyde Pritchard also discovered that water had apparently gotten between the dam and the ground beneath it, threatening the structure's integrity. The National Weather Service issued a flash flood emergency in
Oktibbeha,
as well as in the Jackson metro area, advising residents seek higher ground as the situation became life-threatening. Campanella added that although the evacuation is not mandatory, residents near the dam should immediately move to a safe distance. And reading the tweet here about the situation, it says, update, though the rain is no longer falling, the state of the dam at the
Oktibbeha,
county lake has not changed. A flash flood warning will continue until 10:45. So we knew this would happen at some point with all the rain out here. And here's another tweet that says,
Oktibbeha,
county is encouraging residents who live near the
Oktibbeha,
county lake dam to evacuate after inspection. The
Oktibbeha,
county engineer believes failure of the dam is imminent, listed below. So please, people, stay away from
Oktibbeha,
county dam lake, for the love of God. I mean, they're not mandatory, but in all seriousness, at a press conference on Monday, January 13,
Oktibbeha,
county emergency managers told the public that approximately 130 homes are in the inundation zone if the dam breaks. In a statement released on Tuesday afternoon, the neighbor Clay County. Sorry. They also told residents they may need to evacuate
Oktibbeha,
county in case.
Oh, God. Okay.
So
Okay. Matthew Ronson says, fake it till you make it.
that's it. That's it. Because look, if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying. I mean.
He said that too.
Great minds think alike. That is the great Magic Ronson in the chat, guys. Yeah, good stuff, Magic. And we didn't even talk about this. That's awesome. Love it. Sorry, guys. I had to have a little fun with this. It's always so serious on here. And, you know, some people are like, oh, you're so boring. But tonight I looked at this and I thought, there's no way that that's the real name of this dam. And after further research,
Oktibbeha,
is real. So there you go, folks. Check that story out on watchers.news for all the footage and latest updates. We'll also start managing that dam failure as well. No pun intended. All right. Heavy snow affects 900 villages in the Uttarakhand. See, I should have did that on this one too. But here in India, in the Uttarakhand in India, were left without power and electricity on January 13th, 2020, as heavy snowfall and widespread rain disrupted life in the state. This week has been a theme of Middle Eastern snow, and lots of it. India, Egypt, Lebanon, Syria, now the United Arab Emirates. Iran has had flooding. Same area, the UAE also flooding. So we get whiplash weather. Floods, snow, flood, snow, floods, snow, snow, floods, flood, snow, flood, flood, snow, snow, flood. And same with the temperatures. Hot, cold, cold, hot, 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 cold, 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 hot, cold. Again, the GSM is about extreme swings in the climate. And that also disrupts climate. And it also disrupts not just climate, but the crops. When you have this kind of instability and inconsistency of temperatures and moisture and sunshine, it throws everything out of whack. And now that we have this volcano Taal still erupting and waiting for that second eruption that could be even bigger, what kind of effect are we going to have on cooling with that? And there's a lot of information flowing around right now about that particular volcano and reporting on what it could bring in the near future. So this GSM, in my opinion, 2020 has been already active, very active with volcanoes, with earthquakes. Puerto Rico can tell you that. India is getting snow. Lebanon's getting snow. The Sahara Desert's getting snow. Iran's had snow. India, I already said India. Egypt. Turkey. Good Lord, that massive snowstorm in the higher elevations in Turkey. Holy moly. So right now the UK and parts of France, in Germany, we're not seeing the usual snow. And even in the Alps, we're not seeing the usual snow that we get. But to me, that's a bad sign. That just means winter's going to start late for you guys and go even further into spring. Here in the U.S., people are belly aching because we've had 40s for January temperatures and global warming this and global warming that. I'm saying, thank God. But at the same time, too, that also gives us a bigger chance of having a later spring. And we already had a late spring last year. Planting was a mess. Some folks didn't get their crop in the ground until the second week of June, pushing the third week. I know a lot of farmers out there are going to switch their seed. Instead of the 102, drop it down to the 97 or even down to 92 cord. Hopefully this works, but that's also going to bring us less yield as well. So we're not in an extreme crisis yet, but I can't imagine how many more planting seasons that we can afford to go through the kind of weather that we've seen in 18 and 19. And if 2020 is expected to be worse, then 2021 to me, I don't see a light at the end of the tunnel at this point, the rate we're going. 2022, 2023, when things might start to come back a little bit and not be as wet. Maybe, who knows? Depends on what kind of volcano goes off between now and then too, right? So much to watch, folks, so much to watch. All right, let's go ahead and check out our handy dandy weather forecast for tonight. I know earlier today I talked about highs and lows, and I would go over those as well temperature-wise for us here in the U.S. First, we'll start with our GFS run of extended look. We got this little mini system moving through tonight into tomorrow here in the Northeast. That is here in New York. 2 to 4 inches at the most in most spots, maybe isolated 3 to 5. I don't expect too much snow from this particular system. This will move out of here quickly. Some lake effect snow will linger. And then we got this big system. That's Jacob right there in the middle of the country. And this is Friday. Jacob's a slow mover, but massive size, low pressure storm. And by Saturday, well, Jacob will have arrived to the Great Lakes and western Pennsylvania. And then as we get into the day, Saturday into overnight, we start to see the snow spread across to upstate in the capital region. Temperatures will stay cold in New York, so that will be all snow as we go through the Sunday. Now, right now, I haven't heard any official numbers. No one's really made a call on this yet. I've been saying 6 to 10. If you live in upstate New York, central New York, parts of Vermont and New Hampshire, it's possible that we could see the 6 to 10 range. But as this storm moves through the Northeast, I mean, it's a quick burst. It's not as heavy of a snow event as it looks on this screen. So it's possible that we could be closer to the 6 to 8 inch range of snow and not the 6 to 10. But I'm going to keep it out there 6 to 10. You know how things change almost on a daily basis. We still have a couple more days before we could really tweak this forecast and give you an exact amount. But right now, I'm going to stay on the higher side of things and say 6 to 10 inches if you live in the state of New York and parts of the, New England, New Hampshire, Vermont, and Maine. Northern Maine stands to see the best chance of snow. And as we move through Sunday, high pressure, lake effect snows lingering on Sunday into Monday, even into Tuesday in the Finger Lakes area, and Michigan as well. And of course, the Northwest, Washington, and Oregon, you're going to stay constantly busy with system after system invading the Northwest. And another large system to develop on January 23rd, a lot like Jacob, but GFS is not really giving it a lot of confidence by the time it makes it to the East Coast. The GFS thinks this storm does not hold it together and becomes lighter. We shall see. And then another system. This was the 25th. Now they've moved the nor'easter signature to the 28th now instead of the 25th. Still has the possibility of a late month nor'easter here in January, but to start the month of February off with a big low pressure system raking the country is a very high possibility for the Northeast. But other than that, I mean, the Northwest, the South, and the Northeast continue to see storm after storm. Now we have two big systems that will move through the plains. this week and next week. But after that, after the 23rd, we're going to see most of the weather staying in the northeast, in the south, and also in the northwest, starting here. So the northern plains, the central plain states, you guys finally get a little bit of break, it looks like, for the last week of January, while the northeast, the northwest, and the south and southeast continue to have its wave after wave of weather. All right, so let's go back and check out our temperatures now, because we are going to notice a different temperature swing coming up as well. As we've known that we've been pretty mild so far for January, and here we are on the 15th, 14th. I mean, here we were yesterday. I mean, pretty phenomenal. If you live in, near Cleveland, 48 degrees, especially for Cleveland. That's crazy. But here we go. Tonight, that's going to change as this Arctic air starts to push down south. Thursday, we will start to see temperatures fall throughout the day, especially up here in New York, as low temperatures could be in the negatives by Friday morning, and that's when this low pressure system is approaching. So cold air is already going to be in place in the northeast. Another blast of cold air is coming through on Sunday, which could spike the temperatures a little bit, just above freezing briefly during this system that's moving through on the weekend, and then back to freezing right after that as we get more Arctic cold blasts on Monday, January 20th, on Tuesday, January 21st, across the northern plains, the Great Lakes, and of course the Northeast, especially in New York and Maine, Vermont and New Hampshire. And then we go to Wednesday, January 22nd, again, the Great Lakes, this area right here. And we've shown that with the snowpack as well. This right here. The snowpack that's going to be in this area is going to be half the reason why these temperatures are going to feel worse than what they are. Moving forward to the 23rd, Arctic air hangs around mostly in the northeast, and it's not done. Get a little bit of break, average temperatures in the 20s and teens for highs, and then another shot of cold air comes down once again from Canada by January 28th, and we could see temperatures in the single digits for the highs by the end of the month in parts of Illinois and Indiana, New York, Wisconsin, Minnesota. I mean, the pattern that I'm seeing right here, and there's another shot coming down as well. January is going to finish out cold from the 16th and the 17th beyond, and it's possible we'll see winter-like conditions continue for sure through February, and just about how much colder will it get is the big question. And one way we can kind of sort of look into a crystal ball is when you're looking at the entire northern hemisphere, and you can get a kind of an idea of the cold air that's building up in the Arctic and pushing down. And as we see, we've got plenty of colder air over Russia and the Arctic. Yeah, let's turn that on. See what happens here. There we go. Why is it behind it? Well, it's behind it, Mari. My arrow is not working because it's behind. Anyway, so the Arctic is pumping out plenty of cold air, and I'll show you. There's nothing, just forget it. There's nothing that indicates to me that this deep Arctic cold blast won't continue to rotate down into the United States for February as well. There's plenty of cold air locked up, and it's only really the first 3 weeks of winter. So hang on, folks. I really believe that we're going to see a cold March and a cold beginning half of April before we start to see any kind of signs of spring. But the Northwest, the Northern Plains, the Northeast, and the Great Lakes are going to be the highest areas that we'll see for late planting season, especially North Dakota, South Dakota. And now we got to worry about the Mississippi flooding again with dam failures and rivers already reaching close to flood stages. So there's a lot going on, folks. And definitely we will have to keep an eye on everything. These models change almost not just weekly anymore, but daily. When you have an idea, you think you might see a certain temperatures or certain kind of precipitation. I mean, it's amazing how quickly things do change. I want to also point out, too, that as we head in towards around January 26th, the UK, Germany, Poland, Denmark. Now we start to see freezing temperatures overnight. And by the time we get to January 29th, we will start to see, believe it or not, a late month warm up as this mild air that's being flung. So basically, we're seeing this cold air pushing that mild air off to the southeast, and it's spiraling up towards the UK. So basically, it looks like this weather system is keeping you folks warm because of all the cold air that we're getting right now at this point. So interesting weather pattern. We will see some cold air around the 26th of January, but really past that for the UK, we have another mild end of January. I mean, look at this. This is January, 29th. We're looking at temperatures probably close in the 50s for highs. So, and that goes for the Alps. I mean, that's over much of Europe. So right now, the cold air is staying locked up in the Arctic, Russia, and Canada, and parts of northern United States. And I can only imagine, though, as things progress in this grand solar minimum, with volcano eruptions, I mean, this model doesn't even reflect what possible cooling effects could have by the time we get to February as well, especially if we have another large eruption. All right, Mari, would you like to come over here and say hello to lovely folks out there?
Hello, lovely folks. Boy, we had a lot of laughs in the chat, Jake.
Well, we did?
You're a little comedian.
Because of
Oktibbeha.
County Dam?
Oktibbeha.
It's a very hard word to say.
Are you going to queue up all the city names like that now?
I should. I should have
did
done
the
it.
last article and it was like, wah, wah, wah.
Yeah, the India one, it was ridiculous, so I didn't even come close. But it's been a long day for me, long, exciting day as well.
We had a rough start too. Like, it first was like 15 minutes late.
I think it was the
audio.
YouTube gremlins.
Really?
Yes. So
we'll have to fix that. I can edit that out, I'm
we'll
sure.
See.
Well, some of it. Who knows? Welcome, Gio, our latest member on YouTube. We have the new YouTube membership. So happy birthday, Mr. Morgan Kell.
Happy birthday.
My throat is sort of like shaky, Jake. I think I need a drink. Anyway, and I already told you, Magic Ronson said, fake it till you make it. No fun intended, he says. So, Jesse, I think he said he was feeling better, so we're happy to see that.
Good.
Bezig Niza? I hope I didn't butcher your name too much. Welcome as another member. We're really excited to grow this platform, and everything that you guys put into us, we give back. It's going to give us opportunities to enhance the website, do more high quality productions. I really would love a GSM app, phone app with our forums on it. So Knife Collector, I made a mod on our GSM forums, and we're trying to get people to use that. I know we have about 2,400 people in our Facebook group. So if you are in the Facebook group and want to share a few links on the website, it's a great safe haven away from big mainstream media.
I wanted to ask
censors.
You real quick, because I know we're going to be doing a future call-in show, Friday night maybe? So my question is, can we, since our Patreon members get access to this number, is it possible that we could message our YouTube members as well? That way they can have access.
Yeah, like what I've done, let's see here. I'm going to actually pull up our site that I'm working on to try to make things. Here we go. Where are you hiding it? See this right here. All right, so let's see. See if it works. So we have different membership. It's good to spread out. So our main platform, of course, is here on YouTube. This is our main home, besides our website, I would say. And then we have Patreon, which we've branched out to because there's been some shaky times on YouTube where we thought it might not be safe. I have a little bit more faith in YouTube, but I'm still cautiously optimistic.
It's great to have those Patreon supporters for sure.
And we also have people who subscribe monthly just with a PayPal. They donate money just like someone would at Patreon or as a YouTube member on a monthly basis. It's whatever you're comfortable with. All levels are going to have the same access, whether you're a YouTube member, if you're on Patreon, or if you donate on PayPal monthly. You will have access to the live call-in shows. I'm excited.
That's good.
Because we have a toll-free number now. So it won't, people from Canada and surrounding, I guess, can call toll-free.
Great.
So that's good. That was requested. I thought it was a great idea. I looked into it and I was able to acquire a number, and I'm excited because the last 4 digits of the phone number is 4 GSM.
Nice.
So that's sort of cool. I really love our call-in shows, having people from all over the world call in and give us their advice and their thoughts and tell us how they got into the subject and what they're doing, different solutions. Gio, thanks again. Just did a super chat. So you became a member and did a super chat.
Thank you, sir.
Very kind. Thank you.
So, in recap, if you join the YouTube, Patreon, or just do the PayPal monthly, you will gain access to the call-in show. You will get access to it. And Mari has been working her butt off, so I wasn't sure about how we were doing that. So I'm glad to hear that everybody who is on there as far as a member of our team will see also access to call in, ask us questions, or just talk about the current events of what's happening in our climate. So either way.
Yeah, the paid subscriber, I think Patreon is $1. YouTube starts at $1.99. YouTube adds the loyalty badges that show how long you've been a member for. You get all these silly emojis that you see people using in the chat. You get access to that. And of course, we always give people shout outs. If you support us, we always give a shout out. We're not stingy. And then there's just different levels. We're going to be adding different content depending on what level. I'm actually working on a blooper reel. So fun. We're full of bloopers too, aren't we? Like I'm going to start cataloging these little special moments. So the more people that stand behind us and support what we do, the more things we'll be able to offer, like, further down the road. I think we offer a really great platform for the whole community online and whatever. So we'll do our best to get people together, discuss the topic, help educate, help people prepare, and that's the best we can do.
That's it.
I'm excited.
And thank you.
New year.
Well, I'm excited too, and I really appreciate all the hard work. Last year, this time, we just had a YouTube option. We didn't have all these really fancy and cool badges and memberships and call-in shows. So, Mari, you've done a great job at growing this channel, this website, everything that we do. Our social media presence is so huge. Hell, I even have over 900 followers on Twitter, and that's just my personal page.
It's overwhelming because we only do this part-time.
Yep. And that's another thing, too.
We have day jobs.
Mari is really going to be kicking in a lot more here in the next 6 weeks, as my day job is actually demanding me to travel out of the state for work. So I'll be joining in on certain shows in the evenings. Still do the morning updates, but in the evening time, Mari's going to help me co-host the show. And I'm just going to kind of call in and give my report as well. But we're going to try a couple different things to keep the channel going. But this is a must. My job is definitely, this is a must for me. And it's a good thing for us as well. So, but this will be kind of neat to see how things roll out for us in the next 6 weeks. And it'll be nice to have Mari's help with the channel as well, taking some of that pressure and time off of me. So I'm excited about January, February, and into early March, especially for the rest of the year, as far as how we cover this and what we'll be able to offer in the future. Is that all you had?
Megan asked, which is our Facebook page. There are 2. I'm not sure if we have a lot of clones out there. Everything that is us has our red GSM logo on it. We have a Facebook page and we have a Facebook group. The Facebook group is a closed group to try to reduce trolls and, just to have a peaceful, respectful environment. And then the page is just to share our content on. It's just the way Facebook is. There's pages and groups. We have both. And I'm not sure if there's actually two different pages named by it. I could see someone trying to copy this because it happens on an almost daily basis. I see it. So, yeah, you'll know it's us because we have such a huge following compared to the other ones.
Yep.
Basically, they won't have many people following them. So you'll see we have a pretty decent presence on Facebook. So, but we are trying to bring that group over to the website because this website's sky the limits, and it's everyone's working together, giving their input and feedback, and it's you guys are the foundation of this, and my hopes are real big with this, bringing everyone in to the climate realist community, to just bringing them together to try to bring truth, especially into our local governments where they're really corrupt with their ways. And that's my call to shut up.
Oktibbeha.
You guys, I love you. Have a good night.
Oktibbeha.
I just wanted to press. I just wanted to press the button a couple more times. All right, guys, that's going to do it for us tonight. Once again, thank you, Mari, for all your hard work. We really appreciate you, what you do in this channel. You make it awesome. So, guys, thanks for tuning in tonight. I'll be back tomorrow morning with another Grand Solar Minimum update. And Friday night, yes, the call-in show is here again. We're back doing the call-in show at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. It's going to be an open topic. Actually, no, it's not. The next call-in show, we were talking about having people calling in and talking about how do you talk to your friends and family about the Grand Solar Minimum. And I want to hear everyone's ideas. I want to hear how it happened with you and your friends and family. But I think that's the number one thing that I think a lot of people have trouble with, especially just people who are just working people who don't have time to study and do the deep research. How does the average Joe out there talk to their friends and family about Grand Solar Minimum? So we'd love to hear your calls. The folks that are members to the Grand Solar Minimum channel in any form, shape, or way, you guys will receive information on how to call in probably tonight or tomorrow at some point. All right, that's going to do it for us tonight. Thanks again for tuning in. Have a good evening, and we will talk soon.
Do you like this show? Give us a thumbs up. Want to support us more? Share to your favorite social media platform. Buy a t-shirt or become a Patreon. All links are in the description below.